Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PSN PS Vita review. And no, you're not experiencing major deja vu, although I am, because I've done this about 20 times now. But basically, to sum up very quickly, when I reviewed the game the first time, I loved it, but it had some problems. And the developer actually left a comment saying, we've took those problems on board, we've took the comments from you and everyone else, and we're putting a patch in to fix it. So I said, well, when the patch comes out, if it does fix it, I'll re-review the game, because it was my favourite launch title, but it was buggy, and it was just knocking it down a couple pegs. It was the type of thing that just a little spit and polish would have made it pretty much the perfect game. Well, they've done it now. So, very quickly to mention what the update does, and I apologise, it means you're looking at this screen here, but it's the easiest way to do it. So, you get 19 new levels with DLC, you get Bakuki's Lair, so you get 78 levels to begin with, and then another 19 completely for free. The progression blocker has been fixed, the swiping is more accurate, the taps are more accurate, squeezing can now be performed while swiping. I understand that those three are probably completely lost with you if you've not seen the original review or anything like that, but I will obviously be explaining them as I go across. The star system has been changed, so it no longer goes on gestures that we've done, it's now just purely for time, which is a drastically small change, but it does so much. It makes the game pretty much perfect, as I say, because the gesture system never worked, because it would often, you'll accidentally touch and things like that, or when the swiping wasn't accurate, and that it would screw you out of a 3-star rating and give you a 2-star rating when it wasn't your fault. It did feel cheap. Now it's just on beating the level speedy. It works great. The hint system's been improved. Widescreen bars have been added to sections to show when inputs are no longer allowed, and stopping little and large has been made a hell of a lot easier when you're controlling the two of them together. And amongst a load of other little things which they haven't mentioned, they've just said, and many other little bug fixes. So, at the start, you can load your game, start the game or not. You can then go into this option here on the left where you can choose which analog you want to move the camera and to zoom the camera in. There's no button controls to actually play the game. There's just L and R to switch which character you want to be when you're in the room with both of them together. Over here on the right, you can view your stats, and you can view the stats of the world, which could be how many sheep you've killed, how many sheep the world have killed, how many times little and large have died on your game and then in the world. You can view your collectible signs. You can go into the credits if you want to. You can then go up here, which is the new DLC, which I'm not going to be showing off because I've found out they've locked it until you've beat the original game. Even though they're prequel levels, they've locked it until you've beat the original 78 rooms. So I figure they therefore don't want people to show it off or people to see it if they haven't beaten the game. So I'm just quite simply not going to show it, but suffice to say, they're free and excellent. You can then go into this, which is your challenge mode, so you can complete the game in less than 20 deaths is the challenge that you get. There's then weekly challenges, which are coming soon. They were coming soon last time I did the review, but I have a feeling the reason that they still haven't came out is because the devs too busy being a good dev and fixing all of the problems that the game had, whilst at the same time giving you a load of new levels for free. So you'd be absolutely insane to complain about that, because quite frankly that's the sort of thing that devs should be doing. It's up there with my favourite dev, Valve, who do this sort of thing all the time. If they know there's a problem, they'll fix it, and then they'll say, oh, by the way, Left 4 Dead, here's some extra new levels for you. So it's absolutely amazing for a little indie dev to do this. It's why I personally like to support the indie devs, because I think they are the future. You've got big devs out there trying to screw you left, right and centre, like with on-disc DLC, and then you've got devs like this who just want to make a good game, and oh boy have they made a good game. Because for those who've never played it, the whole point is you control either little, large, or little and large, and you've got to get them out of the room and escape. And as I say, there's 78 originally, and now there's another 19 been added, and every room is a puzzle, and pretty much every puzzle there's a way to die, whether it's a gory death from being splattered or zapped, or just falling down a hole and not being so much gory, or getting sliced by a fan. There's millions and millions of ways to die. Okay, that's an exaggeration, there's hundreds of ways to die, and hell, maybe there's only 50 ways to die if someone wants to be pedantic and count them. I don't know, I haven't done it because I'm not pedantic. And as I say, the whole point is you have to get them to escape the room, and every room's a puzzle. So you use the interface of the touchscreen and also the back pad. And this is what I mean by it used to work on gestures, because the slightest accidental touch to the back pad, because you can probably see little black dots and swipes there, the slightest accidental touch meant that that could screw you out of a star rating, and it did feel cheap. The fact that it now works on time, it means you can hold the Vita comfortably with both hands rather than having to hold it in some form of claw formation and things like that like it used to be. And you use the front screen, the back screen, as I say it, swipe little or large to get them to move. You can then push objects so that they're actually out of their way. You can push objects so that they're in their way to stop themselves from dying. You can activate coffee machines so that you can then squeeze by touching the back and the front in the same place where the character is, so that you can then shoot across because you're high on caffeine and you're super fast. You can then squeeze to make the character fart because he's full of air and he's trying to float up, and you use tilt controls then to control the floating. And it's just, considering I'm usually an advocate of button controls over gimmicky controls, this is one of the times when the gimmicky style controls actually work, because they've done a good job on it. It's a nice interface and way to play it. I've always liked touchscreen gaming ever since I played it on the DS, and I thought that is the way of the future. I'm still not sold on back screen gaming because I still think it's inaccurate, and it's just impossible to see behind the console while you're using it, so I'm not too keen on it. And I've never really liked motion controls and tilt controls unless they're using a basic way, which these are, quite simply, as I say, to float around, and it does work, it is responsive. So they've got the controls part nailed now that they've fixed them and fixed the star system. They've got the graphics part nailed because I think it looks fantastic. I love black and white style games, like for example Limbo, and there's another one just came out on the PSN which I'm now annoyingly can't remember, probably because it's not out in Europe, but either way, there's one just came out there as well, and even the blood and everything in it being black and white, it works well. It's a great graphical style. Musically, the game sounds amazing, but unfortunately I can't let you hear it. And gameplay, well, you've probably seen, it's just really good. It's the type of thing that I hope I haven't spoiled too much. I've only done the first couple levels here, or rooms, or whatever you want to call them. But, oh, and I've just accidentally got a trophy for killing large, I believe. But it's the sort of thing that when you go into a room, you won't know how to do it. It will take you a couple of attempts to figure out exactly what to do. Some of them will have you stuck for decades. Some of them will have you stuck, well, decades again's an exaggeration. Some of them will have you stuck for hours. Some of them will have you stuck for minutes. Some of them you might just go straight in and think, aha, that's exactly what I do. Yep, I was right. And I got my 3-star rating right away. But as well as getting the 3-star rating, as I've already mentioned, you also have to find these little collectible signs around the place which are hidden all over. And I believe there's 42 of them, and I think some have been added for the DLC, but I don't know if that's including the 42. And therefore it means that it's not a case of there's one in every room, so you do have to be eagle-eyed and look for it. And that's pretty much all I can say. As a launch title, I apologise, my voice seems to be going, so I really will sum this up quickly. As a launch title, it was always good. Now that they've added some post-launch DLC and fixes, it's raised it from a very good game to an absolutely phenomenal game. You'd be a fool to miss out on it. I think it's well worth the price of a tenner because it's just fantastic. So there we go then. That's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.